Hello, everyone. What you're about to see is from our third ever recording of the FLG Golf Podcast with Dr. Brett Van Norman. Now, admittedly, as a novice podcaster, I tried to bite off a lot more than I could chew with Brett, so we're publishing this time together as 2 episodes. Today on episode 4, we discuss Brett's golfing roots in Canada and his journey to a single-digit handicap on the empty fairways of Indonesia, an insane number of holes record, a great dick-out story, some Bryson, some Moe Norman, and how chiropractic care should not just be considered a reactive treatment for injuries, but is relevant for all golfers as a proactive treatment for elevating performance and just general well-being. But aside from Brett's passion for the game and his profession, he's a cigar aficionado. So check out episode 3 of the FLG Golf Podcast for our conversations around and about the cigar, the history of smoking in the professional game, famous golfers who smoke and their fashion choices. So without further ado, here's Brett. Again. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of the FLG Golf Podcast. I am joined today by Dr. Brett Van Norman, seated here to my left. Brett, thank you very much for joining us.
It's good to see you, buddy.
This is the Beer Pioneer box that I got just this week. Basically, once a month, if you sign up for beerpioneer.com, you get 8 beers in a box. You can actually up to 16 if you're into that kind of thing. Brett, what have you chosen?
I did the healthy version of the 99% carb-free stuff. I'm actually quite keen to try this.
Now, I like fruity beers. I'm a fruity guy. We've got grapefruit pale ale. There's a mint, if you like that sweetness. A lassi gose, blackcurrant and apple sour, and then we got a couple clean, crisp, just normal pilsners. Now, what I've chosen here is a strawberry daiquiri, and it is good for a hot day. We're sitting here on the balcony. It's kind of overcast, but it's probably
It's warm.
32 degrees. Maybe if the sun was out, it'd be 32. We're sitting. Singapore tends to have one weather forecast every day, hot with a chance of rain. I think that there's something very obvious that we need to discuss here, which is on the red T-shirt that you're wearing.
Yes. Glorious and free.
Glorious and free. It seems topical.
Are you listening, U.S.?
We cannot be bought, Donald, you giant peach. This is the second time that I've seen you in a row that you're wearing a T-shirt with the words Canada across it. Because we will often get confused with Americans. And often in Asia when I'm asked, what part of America are you from? I'll say the Canadian part. Thank you very much.
Well, now we can't say that.
Yeah, we can't even joke about that anymore. They'll think we're serious.
No, I just tell them to fuck off.
A very Canadian.
Yeah, we need to change our image, right? We're not pushovers anymore. We're not so nice, are we?
But what part of Canada? You're from Calgary, which is in Alberta, Calgary. If you start at the Pacific Ocean side, you've got British Columbia. The province next to it is Alberta. So basically, you've got the Rockies on your western side. And, would you say that it's half prairie, half snow-capped mountains?
Well, yeah, there's quite a bit of prairie, but I always tell people to make it simple. It's kind of the Texas of Canada. Oil. Yeah.
Badlands.
Cattle.
Yeah, you've got Badlands. You got all our awesome fossils there.
Yeah. Ranches, cattle, and farming.
You've got courses like, Banff Springs. These are the top level courses. These are the bucket list courses where the tourists will go. You've got Kananaskis, you've got Banff Springs, you've got Lake Louise. Then you go up, Canmore. Then you go up into the Badlands where all the hoodoos are, which are basically like, it's desert stone canyons. Picture the Grand Canyon, but with a golf course in between it. Like there's a TGL hole. I forget which one it's called, but it's basically like the back nine of Dinosaur Trail in where's all the dinosaur fossils in northern Alberta?
Drumheller,
that's it. Yeah. Amazing. One of my favorite courses. And it's not.
I've never been.
It's kind of like a front nine sort of linksy prairie style, and then back nine you go up on top of the hoodoos, and like you're literally hitting from one grassy tee box over canyons to a grass fairway. It's like landing areas. And there's signs like if you hit it, there's no rough. But if you hit it off the fairway, you're into canyons, and there's signs that just say, "Don't look for your ball." There's rattlesnakes. So, so Alberta golf also very varied. Yeah. So like you learn to appreciate just like the setting, the vibe. Like it's a beautiful place in the world to grow up and touch golf for the first time.
Well, it is. However, it was nothing fancy like that I learned how to play. I just played on these municipal courses in Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
I would call them dog tracks now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when you're learning and you're 13, 15 years old, you're not going to Banff Springs.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Unless you want to spend a full day trying to get through it. But no, it was the only issue comes down to weather, right? So then you're stuck really 3, 4, maybe 5 months of the year if you're lucky. And the rest of the time is driving range and in a big dome, heated dome.
Yeah.
Look, if I'm going back to Canada at some point in my life, it's going to be Vancouver because I cannot handle the winter. Mm-hmm. So it's beautiful, and I can handle a couple weeks perhaps, but no, there's no chance I can do it anymore.
I've played golf on Vancouver Island. I actually played golf this Christmas on the 23rd of December. I played golf on Boxing Day. I played golf on New Year's Day. And what I love about that is like the old boys at the club that we play in, if you imagine a golf cart, imagine just sort of solid, hard, like plexiglass doors basically that they can install on it with like a proper hinge. So you open it like a door. And then inside, in the cup holders, they have propane tanks. And the propane tanks have a little heater on the top. And they fire that up. And it's just nice and toasty in there. And then you got your your crushable hand warmers. And they make, hunter boots, like basically like the calf high boots. Mm-hmm. They actually make those with golf spikes on them. And a lot of books, they wear those. So you can literally play all year round. As long as the course isn't closed, you can play golf. And I do, and I love it. Do you want to do two truths and a lie?
Sure.
You want to tell us 3 things about yourself. So 2 of them are true.
Yeah. So I struggle with this. First of all, I'm on dating apps. Okay, and this is one of the things that they sort of prompt you, and I decided to skip this. But I thought, well, for my buddy here, let's see if I can come up with something. Okay, so. Number 1, I was the first chiropractor in all of southern Malaysia. Number 2, I used to play soccer for my university team in Canada. And number 3, at one point I was a single handicap.
Okay, so I have played golf with you. You're pretty good. I can't say what handicap you are now, but it's not a single. But you got it in there, I think. I would say definitely you were the first chiropractor in all of southern Malaysia. And you're a pretty fit guy, and you had to get started on your chiropractic or medical journey at some point, and I think high-level athlete. So am I right that the soccer and the chiropractor are the 2 truths? No.
Nope. The university team, they were too good.
How did you become a single handicap? How long did it take? And which number was it?
It's 9.6. Okay.
That
well,
counts.
yeah. You had to bring
digit.
that up.
Yeah. There's no rounding. We're not going to round it up to 10.
Yeah,
it started with a 9.
No. Single digit, buddy. It just happened to be a perfect time where, for those of you who don't know, Singapore is very transient. So people come and go all the time. And I've been here for 18 years. How long have you been here now? 16. Yeah. So long timers, we see lots of people come and go, right? But during this time period, it just happened to be an absolute perfect period in all of these 18 years of this 5-year span of, there was these 3 guys that I would just go golfing with, that the 3 wives, and my wife, my ex-wife, they were all best friends, and we were all really good friends. When does that ever happen, right? And so they would go do their trips, and then we could go do ours.
Would you combine trips also? Like, would you go to like Ria Bintan and they do the 2-day spa thing, and you do the
No, it wouldn't. Well, it wouldn't be Bintan necessarily, but like say Bali.
Yeah.
And then we would have 2 days of just be on the course, and they can do whatever they need to do.
Beauty.
Yeah. So worked out amazingly. We did our own golf trips just the four of us all over the place. We can get into that.
Mm-hmm.
But during that time period, me and one other guy, we were particularly into it. The other two, they just kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Right. So me and this other guy. Well, first of all of us, we decided we wanted to get a membership to Bintown. This is pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So during that time period, it was easy to come and go, and membership was $1,000 for a year.
What?
Yeah.
Which course?
Laguna.
Okay.
And so we would go every 2-3 weeks max.
Yeah.
At least a day, sometimes, 2 days, 1 night. There's a cool little boutique hotel attached right to Laguna. The caddies pick you up in the morning in the golf cart, take you directly to the course. It's beautiful. And so we just, and when we would go there, and it would be dead. But when we joined, we were probably the third or fourth members.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear my record?
I do, yes.
It's 117 holes in 48 hours.
How does your body feel after that?
Well, I was younger.
Yeah. I could barely do 36 now. I could do 36, but I need some lubricant.
Yeah. One of the most amazing stories that we always bring up if we ever get together is, so I'm paired with the Australian, and he's not the best driver. Okay, so, and we always have a rule about the ladies' tee.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Are you familiar with that
Is
one?
it if you don't get past the ladies' tee, there's some sort of penalty involved?
Well, it's called a dick out.
Not leaving much to the imagination there,
Right.
but yeah, okay.
Right? So your pants down, and you have to hit your next shot pants down.
Yeah.
Right? But we were, especially with a couple of them, right? Where it's just like, well, every 9 holes you get a mulligan, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
So,
just one mulligan, though. And it has to be off the tee box.
Yeah.
You can't use it on the green or anything.
No,
like
no,
that.
no.
Okay. No.
That's not a proper mulligan.
Yeah.
So him and I are teamed up, and it's tight. We're on the back 9, right? And he's teeing off, and he doesn't make it. And we're like, okay, hands down. And we've all had to do it, like all through our course of playing many courses
We've all
together.
been there.
We've all
even
had
the
to do
even
it.
the 9 handicap's been there.
I've been there, yeah. And turns out that he wasn't wearing any underwear that particular day. And we're with caddies.
Yeah, all lady caddies. And,
all
and
lady
they're
caddies.
all quite young. Very rare that you'll get a caddy like over 40. So they're usually in their 20s or 30s, right?
Yeah. And
many would say that they intentionally hire like very attractive caddies for the male golfers to, banter about with. And we'll leave it there. Yeah.
Yeah. No funny business, okay? I don't know what they're thinking right now, but so he's like, really? Got to do this? These are the rules.
He should have known.
No. It's like, well, all right. So drops. And, of course, everybody's just fucking dying, right? We're all everybody's just crying. The caddies are also, they weren't being shy either. They weren't just like, oh. No, they were like, right in it.
You were pointing and laughing,
and
or being somewhat impressed, pretending to be impressed.
Well, let's just say there's a lot to be impressed by with my Australian buddy. Like, I was like, holy shit! No wonder he doesn't wear underwear.
He was hoping to.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, hey, why do you keep doing this? So anyway, yeah. Then we kind of get through the round. And I was like, oh, by the way, Tom, you had a mulligan.
Yeah. So you can use it
off the tee. He could have used it, and I was his partner, and I knew he had it. But I was like,
well, you didn't know he wasn't wearing no underwear.
I did not know that part. Yeah. He's like, you bastard.
All right. So let's get into.
Wait, I got to finish that story.
Okay. Jesus, there's more?
There's more.
Okay,
so
excellent.
This is in Bali.
Love it.
Okay. Maybe 6 months later, we're on a golf trip to Hua Hin in Thailand. And this caddy's like, I recognize, holy shit, it's you. It was the same caddy that was there in Bali.
In a totally different
country. And she remembered us and him. It was insane. She's like, yeah, no, I remember you.
Yeah.
Wow. What are the chances of that shit? Like, nah.
Well, good for her. Did she get to see the guy's ding dong a second time or no?
No, unfortunately he's moved on. He's back to Australia. So.
Tom, he decided to get out of Asia.
Tom, if you're listening, I love you, brother.
Favorite golfers, past and present?
Do you remember Moe Norman?
Okay, famous Canadian golfer,
yeah.
Moe Norman. We're gonna put a little image of him right here. There's a great YouTube video on Moe Norman. I really should break down at some point, but
he's quite an athlete. He looks like quite an athlete.
Yeah, but like sort of the John Daly of his time.
Exactly. Yeah.
But Moe Norman. Okay, what I know about Moe Norman was that he basically preferred to not play pro golf, but to hustle, like hustle on driving ranges and hustle like members. Because I guess at the time you could actually not make too much money on pro tours, and the lifestyle was a lot of travel and stuff. But he's sort of a legend in that, sort of not well known from a victory perspective, right? As a winning golfer, but obviously like a Canadian legend.
The professional golfers used to talk about him as being the best pure ball striker.
Yeah.
And nobody knew who he was.
Yeah, amazing. How about today's game?
Today I'm kind of getting back into following some of these guys. I'm enjoying Bryson quite a bit, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I've been following his YouTube. I remember him being a total dick, I think
he's probably still a total dick, but he's really rehabilitated his image, and I think he's letting his natural non-dick personality come out a lot more. I think Bryson is great for golf. He has been great for golf. Even if you don't he may not be your cup of tea, but to be honest, he's brought a completely different generation into watching the professional game and learning about golf, and not just learning about golf itself, but like the science behind golf, because that's his opinion,
he's a physics major, right?
Yeah. So do you kind of gravitate to that because you have a science mind?
No, it's
unrelated.
Yeah, I didn't even realize until probably about 3 weeks ago that he was a science major, and he got super into it because he just doesn't seem the type, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, I guess he's got a mind.
Yeah.
But he's just brings some fun to the game, which I always thought was lacking. So
definitely,
just how to bring it to the masses and just make it more relatable. I think he's done an amazing job with that.
Yeah. Athletes in general, like. You love hockey. I love baseball. Athletes in general are not the most exciting personalities, especially in those kind of sports. And it's often not even in their best interest to be a natural personality, because we'll often complain athletes, they don't show us their true side, but then they show you their true side, and then the people will jump
roasted,
on them for being too casual or not being focused on the game or whatever, right? So you get all these. The Hockey Night in Canada interviews were like, you don't even have to ask a question. They'll just chime in and be like, yeah, it was a good period. We had the boys fought hard there. It's just one game. We got some things we need to work on.
We just need to work hard and just get the pucks deep and things are going okay. Yeah. We'll do better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But Brett's the founder of Advanced Pain Centers in Singapore. He focuses on, I'm reading this, non-surgical spinal decompression, neuropathy, or neuropathy?
Neuropathy.
And functional medicine. So, Brett, what have I just said?
All right. Well, spinal decompression, this is something that just helps people with things like sciatica, slip disc, and it's a non-surgical way of taking pressure off the nerve, which is something, of course, that happens to a lot of golfers. Then we have neuropathy. This is just a fancy word for nerve damage, and typically happens in the feet. So people that have this tingling and numbness in the feet, diabetics experience it a lot. We help a lot with that. And then functional medicine. It's something that recently I started getting into, and it's about helping people with metabolic issues. And I've always had sort of a passion about people with diabetes and just that lifelong medication that they need to start taking. And we're trying to find ways to help them not need to do that anymore.
We have just had the first weather delay of our podcasting history. I've never been to a chiropractor, so you're gonna have to treat me as if someone like I don't understand what happens on the table, right?
Ever since I've known you.
So I haven't had an injury, right? Okay, so for someone that hasn't had an injury, there's no reactive thing that they need to do. Like this is still valuable from as a preventative measure or just like a peak fitness measure.
It's why most of the professional athletes, a lot of the teams these days have chiropractors. It's not necessarily for the injuries that they currently have.
Yeah.
But why not prevent it? Why not try to be at your best no matter what? I mean, everyone's looking for an edge. So if your spine is in proper alignment, you have a much better shot. So if everything is stiff and things are, you have more chance of injury. Who wants that? Especially as an athlete.
Yeah.
But even for the average golfer, who wants that? So you need to get in the clinic.
Okay. So if I come into the clinic, what do we do? What's the first thing that we do?
Well, just assess where you are and see what it's almost like a dentist. I tell people because they can relate to dentistry quite easily. It's
and the fear of dentistry as well.
Well, yeah, hopefully not that part, but yeah, it's just assessing where you are that you may not even know where you are. So there's things that can be happening under the hood.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of these issues that I see are, for the most part, preventable and something that you could have picked up 20 years ago.
Yeah.
If you took a look.
And is it because the spine, like the alignment, the way that you think about it, is it about the nervous system or is it about the bone alignment or structure?
Yeah, so it's both. It's the biomechanics, it's the joints, it's the discs, it's the muscles and tissue surrounding. But a huge part obviously has to do with the nerve system. Yeah. So if the brain is your central computer and you're sending signals to every part of the body to make sure it's coordinating and functioning properly, you probably should make sure that it's not being interfered with and not being compressed to some degree. And again, it's not always obvious.
Yeah.
So if you can take these things off before it really creates an issue, then maybe we can save your swing. You know, if you're aligned and things are working better and the biomechanics are better, then you're going to swing better. I always joke with my golfers that I just took 2 strokes off your round, or I just added 5 to 10 yards to your drive right there.
Oh yeah. Or so, you've added 5 more golf rounds a year.
That too.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I need to use that.
Yeah.
Maybe we can save you from needing to miss 6 months. Even this most recent professional golfer that we went out, I was able to take him out. He's been under care for 6 weeks, maybe.
A pro golfer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Asian tour, like...
This is back in the day.
Yeah.
He's like 55 now.
Okay. So he's still playing a ton.
He was.
Yeah. Okay.
So this scared the shit out of him, right? He's like, I can't swing. I can't play. And within 6 weeks, we were on the course just 2 weeks last week.
Having a free round.
Yeah.
Good.
No, he's a very wealthy guy and likes to take.
I meant physically free. I meant his body was free.
Gotcha.
But yes, it's good to know that there are perks of being a chiropractor and working with golfers.
Yeah. No, it's fun that way too.
Yeah. How many sessions and what would you need to do on a session like that?
For him, it's within 6 weeks we will get back out there. He's still not done.
Yeah.
Right. Still got a lot of work to do. Disc issues can take months. And basically the only alternative is he could have gone for surgery.
Yeah.
So no matter how many pills he took, it's not gonna solve a compressed nerve.
Yeah.
right? So then it's just a matter of how do you decompress it. We try to offer a non-surgical way to do that, and successful in a good majority of the cases. The key is not waiting too long.
Yeah. Hint, hint.
Get checked. Get checked. Do you want to get to 117 in 48 hours?
Yes and no. Dr. Brett Van Norman can get you to play 117 holes of golf in 1 day, 48 hours. Guaranteed. You heard it here first on the FLG Golf Podcast.
Guaranteed.
Do you want to be the official chiropractor of the podcast? You don't actually have to give me anything. You just have to. You can just be the official.
Sponsored by. I'd love it. I'd love it. This is his way of getting a free checkup, folks.
Yeah. I got a box of beer from the Beer Pioneer. We'll see if we can get some apparel coming from another person. You know, this is maybe the
and he gets
maybe
free,
these are
and
the
now he
perks
gets
of
free
having
chiropractic care.
Yeah.
This is the way to do it. Well done.
How did you get started, first of all, before I ask more broadly?
Well, my mother was a nurse for many years. She's retired for a number now, but she was almost 30 years nurse. And I grew up quite sick often, like every couple months. I had something, cold, flu, some immune issue. Nothing serious, but it was just like, I was just constantly getting sick. And I would follow all the instructions given. I would take the pills. I would take the antibiotics when recommended. And like, why am I still getting sick? And this doesn't make any sense. And I even considered I was going to be a medical doctor, wanted to be in that sort of realm, and then I just started questioning it. And then someone brought it up and it was my high school guidance counselor, actually. She's like, well, why don't you... Have you ever thought about chiropractic? Like, what the hell is chiropractic? You know, I was in the 11th grade. This is 1992. You know, wasn't so mainstream even in Canada. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I just like, well, I guess she's like, here's my chiropractor. Go check it out. See what you think. And then I went to him, and he seemed like a pretty cool guy. I was like, oh, this is cool. And he adjusted me. And it's like, wow, this is wild. What is this? And then
this is the early 90s too. Like, is that sort of sort of broader acceptance from the public perspective mm-hmm. of the discipline? Or as like a health
for the
measure
most part,
kind of thing?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, it started coming up in the 80s in the States quite a bit. And then, in the 90s, just trickled in and started building from there. But yeah, it wasn't mainstream. And then after that, it's like, well, here's where I went to school, and take a look. And then something clicked. It's like, wow, this is a natural way to help people. That seems,
without medication, without surgery.
Yeah, seems to look at a more logical way of looking at causes, so to speak, instead of like just the symptoms and just sort of reacting. And just kept diving deeper and deeper, and I just kind of fell in love with the idea. And then
so today, what do you love about being a chiropractor?
You know, it's 25 years in now, and I still take for granted, especially the more years that go by, you have to, sometimes you have to look at some of these patients that you're helping and the miracles that are happening. It almost happens on a daily basis that you're just like, the changes you can make to people that had no hope, that were doing nothing but taking medications, failing at every other type of therapy that they might have tried, and either considering a surgical procedure, or maybe they're not even at a point that they can even do it. Maybe their health conditions and their age it's not even a possibility. Yeah. And so they're just hopeless. Right? Yeah. They're just like, I've had many suicidal patients, and it's just to do that. I mean, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty rare to have any profession that can have that impact.
And yeah, I have to remind myself often. I really do.
So for those that are maybe listening, where there's maybe a hint of some sort of medical discipline in their future that they're interested in pursuing or learning more about, like what kind of advice can you give to someone who is on the precipice of deciding a career path?
I think what we're seeing now is one of the culminations of years and years and decades of people pushing wellness and just overall health. As I'm drinking a beer,
and we just smoked a cigar on the balcony.
On a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, bone and nervous system health, people, not lung and liver health. Those ones are way down on the bottom of the list.
Separate. Don't worry about that. As I crack another. All right.
I forgot where we were.
Where were we?
I asked you something about getting into it today,
okay.
right? A young person out there. Yeah. Okay.
I got it.
We're 3 beers in, so forgive us. This is the whole point of the podcast, everybody. We're humanizing chiropractors, right, by pumping them full of liquor and talking about their golf game. And,
Patients are watching. This
doesn't happen before he works on your body. This is a Saturday afternoon, everybody. He's not going to the clinic later.
Yeah.
He may go to the putting green later, but yeah.
No, I mean, we'll do your assessment later.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the bed
right now.
Okay.
I mean,
we're going to live stream it.
I think I need
Stay tuned.
I need a few more.
I may need a few more.
So, yes, young people, thank you for watching this. Again, with all the natural, with the failed system right now, basically, right? I mean, I think there's just been a turn, and people are starting to look at alternatives, and to, I think, go into the system is an easy thing to do, right?
Go into the system means what?
The medical model, symptom relief, just kind of masking
seeing
symptoms.
A GP, getting meds, getting towards surgery, getting consultations as opposed to treatment by other methods, which are, I mean, by now, chiropractorness. Chiropractory.
Sure.
What do you call it?
Chiropractic.
Chiropractism. Even though now it must be considered mainstream, right? Because every time I get off the MRT, there's a chiropractic clinic nearby, and there are ads on bus stops, etc. Right? It's becoming more mainstream, but really, it is not in the stream. Where if you begin with pain, especially in Singapore, if you begin with pain and going through your family doctor, it's not always going to wind up where you are.
Nope.
Right? They're going to go through the hospital system, right? Which has a totally different symptom treatment mindset, objective, right?
Yeah. So, Singaporeans, if you're listening, get on with your government and start asking them to include chiropractic in your healthcare system.
Yeah.
And it is the way it is in Canada. It's the way it is in Australia and U.S. Plans are always including chiropractic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so more and more people are looking for alternatives because they understand that just taking more pills and just waiting for my body to fall apart before I start doing something about it is probably not a good way to go about it. And do I want to end up like my grandmother, who's not able to walk, or just quality of life is so poor that they don't even want to be around anymore?
Yeah.
And they feel like the burden and all. It's just like, no, I don't want that. How do I change that? So if you're looking for something different, chiropractic is a perfect profession for that. There are definitely others in the natural healthcare system, but not going down the medical route is probably wise.
So tell us where people can find you. Tell us about advanced pain centers and where people can find you in your practice.
Sure. So 3 locations in Singapore. For those who know the area, it's in central Singapore in Toa Payoh. It's in the more northeast in Kovan, and then in the west coast in Geelong. But you can look us up online, advancedpaincenters.com, with the British Canadian spelling.
CNTRES.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
ERE.
Thank you very much for watching the FLG Golf Podcast. If you'd like to check out episode 3, Brett Van Norman and our cigar conversations, click here. For something else new and recent from FLG, click here. Look at that. I can do YouTube stuff now.